Woo-hoo! Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to Play It Painted Live. We are just about ready to get started. We're actually starting a few minutes early, and that's because I have to try to make this a fairly early night. So let me get things ready. I'll show you what I'm working on real quick, and then we can just kind of take it from there. Could use a little bit of input regarding what you guys want to see painted tonight, because I am in the middle of a larger project, and sometimes this type of painting may not be the most entertaining. So anyway, this mess of miniatures that you see in front of you are from Wrath of Kings, and I'm currently working on the Iron Lotus Warriors and a specialist or two over here. So anyway, let me show you what some of these look like. Right now, all I really have done is some flesh and some faces and that kind of stuff. Okay, so they come in 3 different poses, and there's 12 models. These are the Iron Lotus Warriors. They're the third type of infantry model from for the Shalhan faction of Wrath of Kings. So you can see this lovely lady here holding the sword. And it's a lot of skin. It's a lot of skin. So what we need to do, so just to do, all of this skin. But I think I got it to a point where, this may not be as good a skin at, oh, what happened to this one? She got punched in the eye, that one. I'll have to come back and fix that. I think actually what happened was, oh yeah, looks like I may have had a little bit of the wash settle in one of the eyes there. So she looks like, ooh, she got punched. So I'm gonna have to fix that. I'll probably actually just start and fix that right now. Here's the third pose. This one here, her eyes are a little bit darker. So there's a little bit better. Troy Perez is first, Tori Ling second. Awesome. So that's that. Okay. So anyways, there's the flesh done on those. Also working on their officers, which are the Black Lotus. Hey all, hey, what's up, David? So here's the Black Lotus. Whoa, can't really see can't make out the facial details too well. That one there looks a little cross-eyed. And then I converted a resin one, just a slight conversion, changed the position of the hands and gave her those Wolverine claws that you would have on Madame Mui, because I don't really like the Madame Mui model. So I can use this as my Madame Mui, or she can just kind of be the leader for the unit. Toy Ling is whistling at miniatures. So there you go, right? Okay, so here's my conundrum for tonight. I have all of these. Oh wait, I'll show you the rank 2 specialist, the Death Bloom. Okay. I wonder if that's even gonna focus. Kinda. No. Weird. It's not gonna focus at all, is she? Oh, we had her for a second there. There she goes. Okay. Yeah, it just doesn't want to stay on her. So she's fun. Really cool looking model. Just started, like I said, skin and faces. That's about all I've got going. Troy Perez is gonna start priming some Techniques Brood tonight. Nice. Adani? A Danai, right? Yeah, Brood Warrior. So here's my question to you guys. I have all these that are in process, and my normal process of doing this is I start with the rank and file and work my way up the chain. Okay, so I would start with the Iron Lotus Warriors, finish them, then I'd move up to the Black Lotus miniatures, and then I would do the specialist last. Because this is the live show, though, I tend to avoid the heavy line painting because it's just really kind of boring to watch because you're just watching me do the same thing over and over and over again. So if you guys prefer, I could do, say, her, or I could do, maybe just the converted Black Lotus. So you guys let me know what you want me to do. In the meantime, I am going to work on the lady with the black eye. Where'd she go? She got punched in the eye. Which, I know it seems mean, but these are times of war. And if you go out in the battlefield, you will get punched in the eye. It will actually, a lot of worse stuff can happen to you. These are some fantastic infantry, though. Really, they really are. Like that's your infantry. That's awesome. I love that. Where'd she go? I'm telling you, there was one. We were just looking at her, weren't we? Someone want to roll the tape back so I can find out which one of my models has the punched eye? That one's got kind of a messed up eye. This one right here. She's had a rough one. See that? Yeah, that's her. Anybody else? Anybody else get punched in the eye? Where we oh, her too. There's two of them. Two of them got punched in the eye. I feel like that whole, yeah, like every one of them in that sculpt has a jacked up eye. Okay, we're gonna work on that first before we decide what we're gonna do. You guys, again, let me know in the comments. Do you want me to work on the infantry Lotus Warriors, or do you want me to work on something a little more individual in terms of showing you guys something interesting? I know, I think at one point, one of you guys was saying, hey, go ahead and do the line painting because I kind of want to see that process anyway, but I don't know if that is still the case. Oh, shoot. Well, so we're, but I'm excited to get these done because this means, at least regarding Shale Han, this means that I should be done on working on the line infantry for Shale Han. Then really for Shale Han, all I will need to do is specialists from here. David Blood, whoa, Tenant once, I can't do assembly of that scale. Yeah, this is actually 12. There's 12 of these, and then 3 dancers, and then the specialist. So it's a lot of skin and faces and all that stuff at once. But that's the longest part of the process, is just doing all the skin and faces and stuff and making sure all of those come out right. Once you get past that, like, there's not much dress on these, so I could crank through these pretty quick now that the skin and the faces are done. Once I do a little correction here on the eyes. And I have to do this off camera because it's just a little too tight. I gotta get in there and fix them. Yeah, this sculpt is not very kind to that eye. You can see why I messed it up a bunch of times. It's just really deeper in that eye than it is in the other one. So So that's why the wash will run in there. It looks like I was having some problems with controlling the wash. What are you working on, David? Let us know. Yeah, so I can't even have 12 on my table. I get discouraged. Just what am I painting now? The rest are stored way out of sight. Nice butts, though. Yeah. Yeah. There have been some complaints about these models. Apparently, some guys are not cool with it. I think they're fantastic. I think they're awesome. It's just a great aesthetic. They remind me of that really ridiculous movie made by the Wu-Tang Clan, The Man with the Iron Fists, which I absolutely love. Love that movie. Just ridiculous, pulpy. It had Russell Crowe in it. It had the RZA. Just a ridiculous movie. It was like Russell Crowe was just, this is when he was after, all the hoopla with Gladiator and all that, when people really started to get annoyed with Russell Crowe, and then he came back and did this movie. And Lucy Liu's in this movie. And I don't know, it was just absolutely stupid action movie. Oh, it had what's his name too? Oh man, I'll never get the guy's name. That huge, like, super buff guy. Yeah, the Man with the Iron Fist. And then Tori's got it right. The Man with the Iron Fist 2. Which I haven't seen. I need to watch part 2. Because I just thought that movie was so ridiculous that it was good. It's kind of like that bad version of good. And so in the movie, there is, there's basically a whorehouse full of assassin warriors, led by Lucy Liu, and this directly reminds me of that. The kind of, and it's kind of that, the whole Femme Nikita type thing. Now, in the fluff, they don't even talk about it, about anything like that. They just talk about the Iron Lotus school being the kind of discipline that eschews the use of armor. They prefer to rely on the unpredictability of their martial skill. So that said, I don't know why they would be quite this unclothed, other than maybe, kind of like the Pelagarth warriors, that this amount of nudity is distracting on a battlefield. That's at least in the Pelagarth fluff. So let's see. I'm still basking in the glow, finishing my butchers. Told Chris I would paint a team of 3 for Wild in the Streets by the game day. Oh, nice. Yeah, those are fun miniatures. The Wild in the Streets stuff. I'm going to do my best to make the 31st. Starting to draw a little aggro from the wife on, multiple weekends doing gaming stuff. So we'll see how that goes. She had a little bit of grumbling about Sunday. So for those of you in Orange County, if you want to play some Guild Ball, David, myself, and a few other folks are heading up to Brookhurst Hobbies this Sunday to get in some games of Guild Ball. And if you've never played before, we can show you the game or answer questions. So it should be a good time. Tori got me a gift, and he wants to keep it. I say keep it. Yeah, if you like it, man, go for it. I don't even know what it is. Like you're not depriving me of anything because I don't know what it is. The only exception is if like, if it's $1 million or more dollars, then I'll be upset. But otherwise, yeah, if you like it, keep it. I'm not going to be mad. I appreciate the gesture. All right. Should I pimp that on the Guild Ball forums? Yeah. Never been to Brookhurst. You worked a lot during the play. You worked out a lot during the playthrough of Guild Ball, did you? Yeah. We learned a lot, actually. We had someone hop on. I forget his username, and I apologize for that. He hopped on while we were playing and answered a lot of questions that we had while we were playing. And that was really cool. That was really cool because that was like reverse. That's like the beauty of streaming live gaming on YouTube is it's not so much that the audience is learning, like, because when it's not live, it's it's basically one-way communication. Here's what we know about the game, and it's almost like tutorial in a sense. But when it's live, you can have people watching that are more knowledgeable than you are. And like in our case, we ended up learning a lot of things about the game from the viewer. And and he was really, really nice. He's like, I don't mean to come off as a rules lawyer or anything like that. And I was like, no, we're a bunch of noobs playing the game. And so anything that you could teach us about it, if we're not doing a rule right or something, please let us know. And that was the case. We were getting a few things wrong, and he pointed them out in a really polite and constructive manner, and we really appreciated it. So I thought that was awesome. One of the things that I wanted to talk about tonight was, trying to do more live streaming on this channel, not just painting, but playing games. So it was really cool the last weekend when we were able to, just to do a little live streaming like that. So we got in a game of Guild Ball, and it was a full game of Guild Ball with plot cards and everything. We played to 12, and answered. We got some questions answered by the viewer or viewers. And so that was good. And then after we played a game of Wrath of Kings, and I was a little more comfortable with that rule set. So that was a fun one too. Let's see. Hey, there's that Wrath of Kings novel, and they say it will teach the rules as you read it. Is it true? No, it's not going to teach you the rules. It'll teach you a lot about the play styles of the factions. If you're kind of paying attention to their philosophies and some of the actions of the central characters from each faction, you'll learn a lot about how they play. But you're not going to learn specific rules from reading the novel. That said, the novel is pretty good. Pretty good. I've read fluff for a number of different games, and in general, I don't like them. I don't think they're very good. There's some of the older Malifaux stuff I really liked. The newer stuff I really can't stand. But Wrath of Kings, it didn't sound interesting, but I went ahead and read it anyway. And it kind of drew me in, and I really liked it. And now I really like the setting of Wrath of Kings, and everything makes more sense to me, right? Because let me say this about Wrath of Kings: it's not the same Tolkien-esque type world that we're used to seeing in fantasy miniature games, right? Fantasy miniature games are rooted in Warhammer, or reflective of Warhammer, which is rooted in Tolkien, or dwarves, elves, orcs, that whole thing. And Wrath of Kings doesn't seem to have any of that stuff. The factions are very, very different. The what defines a human and a non-human in the game in the game and the fluff is very blurred. For example, the transformations that happen from that change humans into, say, vampires, or humans into, say, deep men, or Severidans. It's very different. It's a very different world in Wrath of Kings, and I really like that. Let's see. Enjoyed the playthrough. That contributor was great. He was also a suggestion on how to deal with Midas. Yeah, I didn't realize how good Midas was until he started saying, "Hey, Midas, Midas can do this and this and this." And I've also heard it said by a podcaster that was saying, "Oh yeah, Midas is the best player in the game." And I was like, "Really? Midas is the best player in the game?" And I started to see some of why. So I thought that was really cool. So I guess no consensus as to whether or not I should paint the rank and file ladies, or if I should paint one of the characters. I want to paint the rank and file ladies. I know it's boring, guys, but I'm going to do it. I do have a very long day ahead of me tomorrow, so I just want to get a couple hours worth of painting. Unfortunately, that means I'm not going to finish anything tonight, but that's okay. Let's see. Are you putting the wash on the skin before you paint the rest? Yes and no. I do a wash. I do a wash early on, and then at the end I kind of do a glaze wash at the very, very end. That's really thin. Okay, so, oh man, getting a lot of notifications. Hold on. All right, here we go. So yeah, let's. I'm just gonna paint some of them because as much as I want to paint the Death Bloom, I guess I'll just save her for a separate session. And so I'm gonna put these ladies away for a minute. I'm gonna show this off just because he's not even started, but the Winterhawk model looks really cool. I'm really excited to paint him. I didn't think he looked very good. Some of the art in the game, if you look at the rule book and everything, it's a little wonky. So you're not expecting too much from the sculpts. And I'd say this about Guild Ball too. The art in Guild Ball is good, but you look at the art and you're like, yeah, it's probably not going to be a good sculpt. And then you get the sculpt in your hand and you're like, wow, that's actually a really good sculpt. Torling says you might go to Brookhurst. Cool. Yeah, go to Brookhurst. That'd be cool. Yeah, we're just going to hang out. It's not a formal event. We're just going to hang out, play some games, and just, I guess, really just hang out and see what kind of interest we get in Guild Ball. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. The Shalehan in the fluff, in the studio art is dressed in red. And if I'm being honest with you, says the guy painting the naked chicks, that's slightly offensive from an Asian point of view. And the reason why is because red is a bridal color in Asian cultures. Not in Filipino culture, because we're Catholic. We wear white like our brides wear white like everybody else, like the Western brides do. But specifically, Chinese and those East Asian cultures view red as the color of brides. I don't think that's appropriate here. Once again, the hypocrisy, says the guy painting the naked chicks. But white is the color of death. And if I'm painting a bunch of deadly martial arts chicks, then I should paint them white, I think. I'm going to paint their dresses white, or, kind of off-white. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to base coat all their dresses azure. See if I like it. If I like it, I will keep stepping it up towards white or off-white. Let's see. I'll be there, Tori. We're just playing some Guild Ball, teaching Guild Ball, learning Guild Ball. 90-minute drive. Yeah. Yeah, no, I appreciate you coming all the way up, David. I think it's great. What's really cool is our local group down here in South Orange County starting to grow a little more excitement around the game. You know, I have pieces. Leon has been teaching people the game using my pieces when I'm playing Wrath of Kings, and then I'll grab my pieces back and teach people the game too. So he's really excited, and it's and you know, it's good to have. I'm the guy that's got the bits ready to go, and the rule book handy, and the templates and all that stuff. So we all just kind of borrow off of my stuff, and that's good too, because that means it's good for me, because it means I don't have to be, you know, just because I'm the guy with the stuff, I don't have to be the one showing it. I get to play other stuff that I want to play. So good evening for me would be a game of Guild Ball and a game of Wrath of Kings. A really good evening for me would be a game of Guild Ball, game of Wrath of Kings, and a game of Relic Knights. Speaking of games that I'm really interested in, David, I've been looking at your posts regarding Jugula. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. And now I am intrigued. So I picked up the Jugula rulebook months ago. Picked it up at Addie's. There was no deck with the game. So I started to read the rulebook, and I was like, and you know, the very first thing, you need a deck for each player that's playing Jugula. So I was like, okay, I have 0 decks. So I told Phil, I said, hey, if you're going to go to Brookhurst, see if you can get me a Jugula deck, because Brookhurst has a lot of stuff from Saga, Studio Tomahawk, that kind of stuff. So Phil went down there, and he used his usual Phil charm to get one of the female staff there to just give him a Jugula deck, and he gave that to me, so that's cool. So now I have one deck, and I have the rules. Unfortunately, like I said, you need a deck per player, so I don't know. I'm going to have to find a second deck to play, and I really want to play. I really want to play 4-player, because that's intriguing to me, and then obviously, you know, growth type system, intriguing to me. Card-based mechanic, love that. You know, I was a big Malifaux player. I'm a really big fan of Relic Knights, and these are card-based mechanics. I really like that. So let's see. There are 0 pundits in the entire Southwest, and from what At Ease tells me, there's no distribution here either. Yeah, the closest store, according to their website, the closest store to sell Guild Ball is in Santa Clara. So that's quite a ways away from either of us. And you know, it would normally be the thing for me to just go and sign up for the volunteer program. I'm no stranger to gaming volunteer programs. I like them a lot. It's really rewarding for me, and it's, you know, it's a big part of my hobby experience. But where I am right now in my life, I really don't know if I want to take on another formal responsibility for promoting any more games than I currently do. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see who. I mean, maybe I do it for a little bit just to get things started, and then I can kind of back off when at least in Orange County, when somebody steps up that says, "Hey, I want to do it now." You know, I've got and they have the time and the resources and all that stuff to do it. This is a pundit would probably, probably going to be like a press ganger in the sense that because Guild Ball is an inherently competitive game, that pundits are going to have to be pretty knowledgeable in the rules. And frankly, we're just not there yet. At least I'm not. I can play the game now. I'm comfortable showing the basics of the game. But if I were to ref a tournament or something like that, I just wouldn't trust me with that at the moment. Let's see. Jugula plays fast. I have 2 decks because the game is fun, but it's campaign is where it's at. It sounds really interesting. So I want to play it, and I was actually talking to Yuya about, hey, you could even mod the game a couple different ways. Like if you wanted to do a wrestling style game, I'm sure you could do that. Just use wrestling miniatures and have big wrestlers and agile wrestlers, right? Instead of light gladiators and heavy gladiators. So yeah, so we're gonna go with like that kind of dress. I just got a text too. Lord Draconum, nice figures. Hey, what's up, man? Getting weird texts. Okay, well, let's just keep going. I mean, I guess I could work on 4 and just the same sculpt and do that, but I don't know. I like. I'll just paint this blue on. Sorry, I'm like so out of frame. Let's move this over. So yeah, so live streaming of gaming. I want to do more of that on this channel. I think it's fun for me to record. I don't know how fun it is or entertaining it is to watch. I've watched some other channels' live streams of their games, and I'm reasonably entertained. It depends on the channel. There are, for example, on the Guild Ball side, there's a bunch of channels now popping up that are starting to show Guild Ball battle reports. GBHL and what's the other one? The Battle Hammer. That's interesting. Just a couple like half drunk dudes. They do a lot of singing on that channel. It's a really interesting channel. Then you have Guild Ball Tonight is the podcast. They also have a YouTube channel, but they haven't really done like much in terms of recorded gameplay. So, but I'm sure they will. So for me, I do want to, I keep talking about like, oh, I want to show a little more in-depth games of, say, Relic Knights with some explanations why things occur the way they do. Kind of give you a little insight as to how my brain reacts to Relic Knights and why I think it's such a good game. And then similarly with Wrath of Kings too, why I think Wrath of Kings is a good game. What are some of the things that kind of tickle your brain while you're playing Wrath of Kings? That kind of thing. Let's see. Yuya will always have a place in my heart because he introduced me to Saga. Also, I met him because of Dreadball. Let's see. Yuya is all about card games featuring half-naked anime chicks these days. Yes, he is. I want to learn one of those games. Every time I'm like, hey man, teach me how to play one of these games, and I just never get around to it. It's not his fault, it's mine. Like I get down there and I'm like, no, I want to put miniatures on the board. I want to play those. Now, one of my favorite things to do, David, though, speaking of half-naked anime chicks, I absolutely love the Takawashi University miniatures. Love them. And as it turns out, they don't have a miniatures game. They're not associated with the miniatures game. They're associated with the card game Tentacle Bento, but you don't need them at all for Tentacle. Tentacle Bento is just a straight card game, but they make these miniatures for them, and I think they're fantastic. And I use them as proxies in Relic Knights, but I want to use them in more things because I just think they're great. So one of the thoughts with Jugula, maybe you won't teach me the game now, but one of the thoughts with Jugula is, oh well, I could use these miniatures, these Takawashi. You know, they're basically Japanese schoolgirl miniatures. I could use those miniatures and make it a shonen style game. You know, it's like which is a very Japanese, like an anime theme where fighting schools, right? Where they all the little girls in their school uniforms, they can do these like crazy martial arts abilities, and they beat the snot out of each other. I'm like, that would be cool, because there needs to be that game, I think, but I don't know. That might just be me and like 3 other people, one of which is you, Yao. So. But yeah, I really want to learn Jugula because, and I can, you know, for most people, I think we will end up using our Arena Rex minis. And Arena Rex is also a fun game in its own right. It really is. It's a good filler game, but it's from what I can tell, it's a very, very different experience than Jugula. Arena Rex is kind of a quick tactical game. It's pretty fast. It's fairly light. You can get the games done real quick, and it's pretty good for multiplayer if you keep your model count low. Let's see. I have trouble with the Welsh accent. I want the cards for Tentacle Bento. Yes, Osprey hasn't made that game already. No, there's Osprey has Fistful of Kung Fu, which I also have the rules for and would like to try at some point. But yeah, as of right now, there's a game for that. There's a pillow fighting game that Viv has the rights to that I still want to learn. I think that it has these larger scale miniatures that you use for it. That seems fun. So yeah, so we've got like up here in Orange County, we do have some excitement over some of these games. Guild Ball, and to a lesser extent, this game Wrath of Kings is starting to pick up a little steam, which is cool. You know, starting to generate a little interest, and it's not really intentional. It's Mark and I like playing this game, and Phil likes playing it. I do hardly ever get to game with Phil, but we both like Wrath of Kings, and so we're both avidly collecting and painting Wrath of Kings and just getting games in where we can. So it's cool to see interest in this. And so we have a group that's kind of following, like checking out the games that we play. And then they're trying to get us into some other games too. But I don't know, man. I kind of slot my games, right? Right now, I got 3 games that I've slotted, and I may come back in and rotate in, say, Batman and El Dorado. But as of right now, my go-to 3 games are Guild Ball as my sports game, and that's kind of taking the spot of Blood Bowl. Then you've got this game, Wrath of Kings, which is taking the slot that was mostly held by El Dorado. And then Relic Knights, which is my sci-fi game. And Relic Knights used to jockey for position with Infinity for me, so as my sci-fi game. So I have my sci-fi game, I have my fantasy game, and I now have my sports game. Let's see. Bruce Lee game? Yeah, I got to paint the Bruce Lee game. That's a board game, though, so I don't really, I don't consider those slotted games. Those are just sort of standalone. Hey, well, we're gonna play Dragon Tides tonight, so we're all gonna play Bruce Lee. Jogula may be that way. Jogula may also be that way because I want to play it. I really more interested in playing it 4-player, so that when we have people sitting around or whatever, or we're tight on space or time, that we can play a game of Jogula and then break off and play our other games. Hamilcar painting. Oh, welcome to the stream. Fistful of Kung Fu, fun game. Need to play really tongue in cheek. Ran into KuplaCon last year. Nice. Yeah, I want to play that game. I now have Bruce Lee miniatures, so why not? Like I said, I could also use my Takawashi miniatures and make it a shonen fighting style. I could make like a fighting style crew for that. I think that would be really fun. So there's I have rule sets for other games. It's really a matter of on my gaming night, who is there and what are our priorities for gaming. Like, for example, I know if Gareth shows up, he really likes El Dorado, and he doesn't really have people to play El Dorado with other than me and a couple of his friends. So if he's there, then I might break out El Dorado. If if I'm playing with some of the other guys, maybe it's Guild Ball, maybe that's what we want to play. If it's Mark carries just about every single game I play, so we can pick whatever we want. In fact, I usually, if Mark is coming, I just straight up ask him, "What do you want to play?" And we do that because some of these other games, they're just the larger group hasn't picked them up, and we enjoy them still, so we just kind of play them with each other. Finally, there's Jose, the guy that was on the stream with me the other night. He's another guy that he'll play any game, pretty much any game that I'm playing, but it also means I have to regularly lend him pieces. I'm not really opposed to that because it is a lot of games that I play, and Jose is a fun player, and he's also pretty sharp. So you can see, like, he thoroughly handed me my ass in Guild Ball. He's the kind of guy that's maybe a bit more competitive minded than I am, or at least he likes to look at games more academically than I do. Therefore, there's going to be games like Guild Ball where he's studied up quite a bit, and and he'll kick my teeth in. I think that's great, though. I think it's pretty awesome. All right, let's see. Just need to make it there. Yeah. So that's kind of how I've been operating. I play so many different games, and it's almost like I have a subset of games that I play with different people that show up for gaming night. And it's not the most ideal situation. And sometimes it's, there are some side effects. Like I have to carry around an insane amount of miniatures and terrain and that kind of stuff with me because, the local stores here, they don't carry quite the right amount of terrain or the mats or whatever that I want to use. And like I said, with regarding the pieces, I'm never 100% sure what I'm playing on any given night. There are some things like, for example, if I carry Relic Knights on me, that's a pretty safe bet. If nothing else if we can't agree on anything else, I can always just say, okay, hey, let's all play multiplayer Relic Knights. We can play 4-player arcade, and I've got 4 or 5 very large factions in my KR case. So Relic Knights is a nice safe bet. And then I may carry, like I said, if Mark is coming, we may agree to bring Batman. So we'll play Batman. If it's Gareth, I'll have to bring my Eldorado and we play Eldorado. So it's a mixed bag. It's cool that I have so many different people to game with and so many different games that I can actually play with someone. It's a little bad in that, it's almost like every single game has a separate person that I play that game with. Oh, Frostgrave is another common denominator. Having a lot of us have our own Frostgrave war bands, so we can do that. So Hamilcar, I know from your feed, you've been also painting up some Wrath of Kings and Frostgrave stuff. You are working on, I believe, Technies, right? For Wrath of Kings. I have a Technies Kickstarter set that I intend to paint up, say, in the next month. I'm looking forward to it. I really think the pigs are cool looking. Yeah, Tori, you have your own RK minis. Yeah, RK is actually, you have your own. Damien has his own. Gareth and Jeff each have their own. So that's a pretty common one. Like that's a good fallback for our particular group. Because if like we can't decide what to play, or maybe there's a weird number of us and maybe limited table space, we can say, oh, let's play 4-player RK and take it from there. And the 4-player RK games, with fast people, usually done in about 60 to 90 minutes. Okay. These are going to take a little more time to paint, aren't they? I think they're great, though. These minis are really good for just rank and file infantry. These dresses, the dresses that they have on, could be like a Vampirella or a Elvira type costume. But they are really cool. Technies in the works, yes. Yeah, pigs look great. I was a year ago, I was ready to throw that whole Kickstarter out the window. I didn't think, played a couple of intro games of it, did not think it was very good. And a big part of that was we just missed so many rules because of the one dice system. We're like, oh, why do I need to know, what all these other numbers are on the defense chart, right? Because all the only numbers I need to know are, am I hit on a 7 or 8? What's the crit at? And that's all. When you start getting into different model abilities changing that hit chart, then I think you start to really see the power of the game. So that's when the game really started to shine for us, was when we wholeheartedly embraced the rules, and we started to play some bigger games just to see a few more different types of troops and interactions. Then the game got much more interesting. Oh, her sleeve comes all the way up to there. Let's see. Tons of HMN, Frostgrave across the dead earth. Are you going to paint patterns on their dress? Probably not. There's, I'm probably just going to be happy with a simple, because these are infantry. Probably be happy with a simple paint scheme. And these dresses are going to be whitish in color, so we are talking several layers. So this is going to be a much longer project for me than what I usually spend on rank and file infantry. But I think the sculpts are so good that it's worth it. I would love to see this whole unit on the field looking rather cool. I think this is an eye-popping unit. Even if you're offended by it, it's a cool looking unit. There's my kitty. Sup? Hey, what's up, Cameron? Let's see. David says, gotta go. Guild Ball on Sunday. And I'll be at OrcCon on Sunday, 14th, all day. Yeah, I I did get the go-ahead to go to OrcCon on Sunday. So let me know when your Lion Rampant tournament is going. I will spend that time running demos of either Guild Ball or SDE or Ninja All-Stars or something. I may actually do Ninja All-Stars, even though my stuff hasn't arrived yet. I may do that. I may paint up enough just to do a little demo game. How's it going, Cameron? So these are Shalehan Iron Lotus Warriors that I'm painting. So yeah, it's cool. There. Speaking of Cameron, here's another, interest that I have is Bushido. So I will be looking at that at some point. I know I keep threatening to do it, Cameron, but I just have so many games slotted right now, and so I'm gonna have to wait until I'm through a few of these jobs, and then got some commissions around the corner here. The one thing I will say about the fluff is I would love it if they could spend a little more time in depth with the factions, but I understand why they didn't. They needed to tell the story, and so yeah. I think I'm gonna have to let my cat in here. He's kind of sad. I'll be right back. Come on in, kitty. Where'd you go? Yeah, come on. Here. I haven't saved you a seat. Come on. Come on. Yeah. What are you doing? Are you gonna stay in or out? You just came to say hi? Okay. Well, I'm going to close the door because mama and baby are sleeping. So, all right. So the cat's in here. I probably have to let him out at a later point, but hey, that's just the environment I'm in. Let's see. I've actually been looking at a game called Carnival recently. I'm sick of seeing the amazing models and cool games. I don't have time for everything. Yeah, Carnival, that's another one that's really cool looking. Love the aesthetic for that game. Having to do Venice terrain, Venetian terrain with the canals and all that stuff is a little intimidating. It's not like people have that stuff lying around, but the game does look pretty cool. Yeah, it's just going to be an issue. There's so many games out there, and I think just about all games are good for one thing or another. There are no truly bad games out there. Well, I don't know if I can say that, but it's just going to come down to what you and your friends and your local meta, what they want to play. If you want to play these niche games, it's okay to, you kind of have to have the understanding, hey, I'm only going to play this with a very small handful of people, and you have to be okay with that. And I think that's going to be my expectation with Bushido and some of the other games I want to play. I don't think there's ever going to be a huge community behind a lot of the games I play. But as long as I have people around me that I can enjoy the game with, I'm totally happy with it. Relic Knights right now doesn't have a big following. It just, it doesn't. It may never have a huge following. I have to accept that, and I have to just, but I'm cool playing with the people that I do play the game with. I'm okay with that. You just have to accept it. Let's see. So many times I've almost pulled the trigger on Bushido. Love the small play area it has. Easier from a terrain point of view. Yeah, I mean you could do a 2-foot board, and I'm using for 2x2s. I'm using those pink foam sheets you can buy at Depot. They're like $6 a piece. You can paint those to look like turf, like rock or whatever. You guys may have seen my practice or my intro guild ball pitch. Still simple design. You could do that for Bushido, and for terrain you could go to Petco, pick up some Asian theme aquarium terrain, and you're good to go. At Petco they sell like Torii gates, they sell statues. I'm gonna probably pick up some of that stuff anyways, just for my Shellhan. Since Shellhan, I could use it for Shellhan, I could use it for my Immortals, for Eldorado. So it's good terrain. And it just looks, right out of the box, it looks great. Just plop on the table. They have those little fake bonsai trees. It's just cool. Let's see. Easier than you think with Plascraft stuff. Oh, you're talking about the Carnival stuff? Maybe. I guess I hadn't really thought about it. The Plascraft, they're making more stuff these days. Their Malifaux stuff looks pretty good. I guess, some of that stuff you could use for Carnival. I'm gonna see if this kitty may wreck all my miniatures in here. We gotta see. 90% of my Bushido terrain is aquarium deco. Yeah, it looks fantastic. And it's so easy to do. I am interested in Bushido, though. I think that should be a fun game, especially quick tactical games like that, portable. It's like that's like my language right there. I love that stuff. Right now, with my kind of assumption that I can pretty much enjoy almost any miniature game. For me now, it comes down to what kind of time do I want to spend playing and painting the game, and what are my space considerations? What are my terrain options? Bushido just seems like a slam dunk. It just seems easy if I want to do Bushido. The hardest part's going to be, ordering the rule book and waiting for miniatures to come in. Yeah, add a little more azure. You're seeing nothing right now, aren't you? So yeah. And also, the other thing I've been thinking about Bushido too is, and you might do this too, Cameron. I know you're retired from your channel, but just how much easier is it to film over a 2x2? Man, that's just, trying to film over a full 4x4 was difficult. 2x2 is easy. You can see everything. I have multiple cameras set up so I could zoom in on the action. I don't know. I might need to do it, but we're looking at, for me, the earliest I could get into Bushido is you were probably talking March, with all the other stuff that I want to do. The other thing too is I kind of in this. I've kind of got this little idea that I might, for now, stick to, because I'm trying to save a bit of money. That I might stick to games that I've already kickstarted, paint all those up, and just play them, and not care if the people around me buy into the game or not, because I have multiple factions for everything that I back. So it's like, just come over and play. I don't care if you have stuff or not. I'll paint my collection. You can come over and you have an army ready to go. You just have to, build it yourself, and build your lists yourself, and the models are there. And I get lots and lots of terrain, so I'm kind of my own little silo here. If people wanted to come over and just try a bunch of different games, we could do that. May have to switch brushes here. Brushes a little small. Correction. Plascraft also has a whole Carnival line. Did not know that. The Asian line is also awesome. If I did a pattern on these, I probably would try to do like lotus flowers. Considering the dresses are going to be white or close to white, that'd be pretty easy to do. I don't know what color I would do them, but painting a little flower pattern. on these wouldn't be too bad. They were big giant flowers. Oh, she's coming along. So yeah, I do want to stream more gaming on this channel. Guild Ball, I think, is just going to be a thing. So streaming games of Guild Ball. The only issue I have with the game of Guild Ball is it is a longer game. And you are looking at 90 minutes to 2 hours for full games. What we might do is we might only play to 8. And I'm kind of liking that format better anyways. So you just play to 2 scores or 4 players down or some combination of both. I think that's enough game for me. Just play to that and you're okay. I don't know if that gives agile teams too much of an advantage, but I don't know. Let's see. Just looked up Plascraft. Holy shit, they have a lot of painted buildings too. I can design a 3rd board for Bushido now. Nice. FRP Games is the only local store that carries Bushido. Yeah, At Ease carries down here in San Diego. They carry some Bushido, but they don't carry anything that I'm interested in. I forget. There were 2 factions in particular I was interested in. I think one of them was Silver Moon, and the other one was shoot, I don't remember. Silver Moon and maybe the Prefecture of Ryu. I don't remember. Would love to see some Bushido battle report stuff. It would be nice if, in general, if, you hop on YouTube and there was enough of a miniature wargaming presence to capture all of the games, all the miniature games out, and not just in a, like a more professional one like Beasts of War. I'm not really talking about that. I'm just saying a wealth of information, and there's a lot of stuff on YouTube. You just kind of have to look for it. But, I'm talking any game you're interested in, so if we said Bushido, and yeah, there are some YouTube channels that did Bushido coverage, but I'm talking about making those a little more visible, a little easier to see. I think would be awesome. I know from some of the comments I receive on other videos and stuff that some people end up looking at this channel because, they were looking for information for a specific game, and they ended up, maybe mine was the only one that covered the game, and so they end up here talking to me about it, and I'm like, man, that's Dead Man's Hand. I haven't played that in 2 years. I don't know what to tell them, But that would be my hope. Not so much that this channel covers all of the games, but this channel is just going to cover the games that I like, and that happens to be a lot of different games. And my interest in a specific game will wax and wane, and I'll move on to another game. But yeah, it would be cool. Like, there are, let's say, 4 or 5 different Wrath of Kings channels, or channels that have Wrath of Kings content on them, besides the official Cool Mini or Not, or what's his name, Michael the designer's his own channel, they talk about Wrath of Kings a lot. It would just be nice. What I'm trying to say is it would just be nice if there were more coverage of all these other different games on YouTube. You know, there's a lot of coverage for GW games, obviously. Like a lot, like a stupid amount of coverage for GW games. And then you have a fair bit of coverage for Warhammer Hordes Privateer Press games. We're starting to see more coverage for things like Infinity, Malifaux. I want to see, like, I just want YouTube to be a place where, like, I could type in the name of any miniatures game and get decent information on it. Decent, you know, player-to-player information, not company-to-player. You know, I want to hear, like, perfect example, David posting about Jugula and how much he's enjoying that game. That speaks volumes to me. I don't care if, you know, somebody on Geek and Sundry or whatever says it's a good game. I don't even know if those guys are playing that game. And frankly, I've seen, without naming any names, I've seen games reviewed on YouTube by people who clearly have never played the game. And I've even caught them in their own comment section. I was like, oh, really? What do you think about this? And then they'll just cop to it. And they'll say, well, you know what? We never actually played the game. We read the rule book. They sent us a copy of something. And here's our review. I think that's garbage. Sorry. I mean, at least they were honest in admitting that they didn't play the game. But frankly, why review the game? Just for free stuff? I think that's crap. If it's free stuff that you're after, you're not even going to play the free stuff that you're getting? Like, I don't understand. Where is this going? I've seen it happen. I know it sounds crazy or mean or bitter. I've seen it happen 3-4 times now. No, more than that. I've seen it happen. Cameron knows what I'm talking about. Some of the other guys that have had YouTube channels for a while know what I'm talking about. That there's some people that just, they want the freebie, even if they're not even going to use it. It's just getting the freebie. And then they'll put up a review and you're like, dude, you didn't even play the game. Like, really, what are you talking about? And you can catch them on it. And I think that's, I don't know. It's a pet peeve of mine because I try so hard to access and, you know, find information or share information on games that just frankly aren't getting, much coverage. Let's see. Here we go. I know I missed a bunch of comments here. Troy Perez, I started with the Undead faction, but have since gone to the Tengu. I love my bird. Oh, Tengu. Yeah, the Tengu look amazing. They look amazing. Now, are Tengu the same thing as Kenku from D&D? I don't know. Loved Kenku in D&D. Loved Tengu in Bushido. Man, does seem really cool. Let's see. Cameron says the wargaming renaissance is over for YouTube, at least. We're in a dark age of content. Wow. There's strong words, and I can't disagree with you. I can't. You have people that, they're growing in subscriber base, and they're covering the larger games. And they're and everybody's just kind of echoing content, right? Like, oh, I don't like Age of Sigmar. Oh, neither do I. And this channel, they chime in too. Oh, I don't like it either. And here's why. And there's not enough people talking about some of these other games that I would like to hear about. And it's, I don't know, it's just a shame. I think it's a shame. And maybe it's mean that I'm kind of like calling out these channels, but those channels, they get big off of talking about the big games, so naturally they're going to get more subscribers. But then it becomes, oh, well, support my Patreon so that I can get a better camera, or I can buy more miniatures. And in theory, at least, I'm not against that. I'm not. I'm not against if you're doing YouTube content and and you have a a really loyal subscriber base that wants to see you continue activity, and let's say you got laid off from your job or something like that, and you have people that watch your channel that say, hey, I just want to see you paint some more miniatures, or I want to see you play another game of War Machine or whatever, right? And you come back and you say, I'd love to, but not only am I looking for a job, I can't buy any new miniatures to paint, or I could film battle reports, but my webcam died or my laptop is not up to snuff. There's situations like that where I'd be like, okay, I know the guy, I like the guy, and I do want to see stuff from him. I'm gonna, I'll throw him a couple bucks every month, and if enough of us do it, then he can get the equipment he needs, or he can pick up a couple more miniatures, and we can kind of share in that. We can share in that channel. Not against any of this in theory. What I am against is the guys that they're like, look at me, I'm popular. Look at me, I'm covering this. Look at me, and they get to a point in their subscriber base and they're like, you know what? I could really use another copy of this game. I could really use, buy me stuff, or support me on Patreon, and I'll make more videos with this kind of content that you like in it. What I'm boiling it down to is like more of a I want versus I need. And some of the channels, you're like looking at them, well, I just want more free stuff. Support me on Patreon. But you know what? I can't fault the guy if people are the guy or gal. If people are just forking money over, like, oh yeah, sure, because it's their own money. They can say, yeah, I do want to see this guy make more videos, and I'll pay for him to get the fancier faction dice and all that stuff. What bugs me is the fact that I know of some of them that don't that I feel aren't really doing a service to their patrons by saying, I'm going to review these games and not play them. Especially when you're taking somebody's money for or free product for it, I just think is irresponsible. I don't know. Anyway, let's see. David O'Connell. I think I ended up discovering this channel because of an Arena Rex playthrough, which was probably loaded with errors because we just play Arena Rex for the hell of it. But I love Arena Rex. It's so fun. Let's see. I found the channel for Anima Tactics. Oh, cool. Yeah. They have a whole series on Anima Tactics. I still really like Anima Tactics. I still really like that universe. I did back the video game Kickstarter, and we got that update for those of you who also backed the Kickstarter that was said, "Yo, yeah, the game is done, and now we got to figure out how to get it to you." Basically, was their last update, and I was like, "What, really?" So yeah, yeah, the Anima world setting is actually quite cool. The miniatures for that game are just phenomenal, in my opinion. I love the aesthetic of that game. Absolutely love it. I use Anima miniatures for a lot of games. Like I use Anima miniatures for my Frostgrave warband because I want a more anime themed looking Frostgrave warband, and it's fantastic for that. So yeah, I gotta show some love for my Anima Tactics. As a game, it could clearly use an update because the rules are quite old, and the game never really saw the support it should have. But by that time, miniature gaming and miniature game design had improved. And so the game is okay by today's standards. With a little bit of an update, you can modernize it to make it a more slick system. You could add more scenarios to make it make it more have more replay value. Let's see, maybe other things as well. I found this channel for Relic Knights. Malifaux brought me here. We're the OGs of Mark II. I was watching. I watched Cameron. I watched your channel for Warmlord stuff, which is funny because I really wasn't looking for Warmlord stuff when I ran into your channel. I think the very first video of yours that I saw just made me laugh out loud. It was ridiculous because bear in mind, I knew nothing about War Machine, right? I had recently quit 40K. I was buying miniatures for War Machine. Somebody showed me some rep models, and I was like, okay, I'll paint them up, and I'll see if I like this game or not. That's typical me, right? Paint first, ask questions later. So I bought some ret, and I'm painting it up. And I think I was looking for miniature war game content, and your channel showed up. And Veil of Darkness. So Veil of Darkness obviously is a 40K reference. So I thought I was going to be watching a 40K video, and it was, you did like some pre-video, some like preview or teaser video for some tournament, like a Warmahordes tournament you were gonna go to. It was like, yeah, it's going down, on this date, and it was a bit tongue in cheek, but also half serious. So it was the mix of that and the fact that I didn't even know what the hell you guys were talking about that just made me laugh. I'm like, this channel is going to be entertaining no matter what. This channel is going to be good. Then I started to watch the battle reports, and the battle reports were like straight up, late 90s, early 2K webcam, Chris doing stupid faces in the webcam and passing it back and forth and going over your turns. I'm like, that's a really entertaining way to describe what's going on. Is these two guys just throwing the camera at each other and discussing what's going on. So I really got into the channel at that point. I was like, okay, well, we're gonna watch more and more of this stuff. I still know nothing. You know me. I still know nothing about War Machine. I don't. I know the only stuff I know about War Machine are, from listening to your channel and what was the other one I used to watch? Bits and Pieces NL, I think. I watched their channel for War Machine battle reports, but I never actually, because I play them while I'm painting, I never actually sat down and absorbed the content. It was like, especially with your channel, it was more like, I want to see the stupid faces at the beginning of it, and then I'll listen to the recap. And so it worked out that way. I didn't end up learning a whole lot about War Machine, but when I was playing War Machine, I was like, I would hear a name of a caster or whatever, and I'm like, wait, I think Cameron plays that. So that's cool. But yeah, dude, I should find the very first video of yours that I watched, and it made me laugh, and I should send it to you. I really do think, in general, more of us hobbyists and gamers, miniature gamers, should have our own YouTube channel, even if it means that we only have, whatever, 15 subscribers, right? It doesn't matter. If you're in a gaming group with your friends, or or whatever, or you know some people that are interested in miniature gaming, that maybe you don't get to see them very often, but you play, and so it's an interesting way to share your hobby. I'll be honest with you, when I first started recording YouTube videos, I thought it was kind of stupid. I thought it was kind of what's the word I'm looking for? I thought it was kind of precocious, if that's even the right word. Like, oh, I'm going to share my hobby with the rest of the world, and you know, somebody's got to be interested in me painting little people, right? And running them around the field and rolling dice. Somebody's got to be interested in that. My brother was he had his channel for a very long time, and a very long time before I started mine. And he would do that, and I'd be like, well, okay, well, I like watching your stuff, but are people really watching your stuff? And lo and behold, lots of people were watching his YouTube video. And so what happened was, one day we were playing a game, and he wanted to record it. And so he was like, oh, I don't have my camera with me. Can you just record it? And I had a camera with me, so I recorded our game. Then what happened was, I got home, and it was like, well, you know, since you have the recording, can you upload it? Well, then when I uploaded it, I was like, okay, fine, I'll make a little channel. So I made a channel and put those videos on, and they were awful. They were terrible Malifaux battle reports. Just, you can't see anything, you can't hear anything. They were just garbage. Way more garbage than the garbage videos I do now. But anyway, it wasn't until you know, and I thought, you know, maybe me and my brother, maybe a couple of close friends would watch my channel. And as long as I did stuff that they found entertaining, or that they enjoyed, or you know, I came to the discovery that, hey, I really like sharing this stuff anyway. I don't care who's watching or whatever. It's just a fun way for me to outlet what I'm working on, or my opinion on the hobby, and that kind of thing, right? So I put the videos out, and I started to make other videos too, because it was like, you know what I'm going to do with my channel is, I'm just going to share my experiences of gaming in all of its various forms, you know, even down to like talking about what miniatures bags I like, and what products I like. It wasn't an attempt to make like a professional, like, oh, I can't wait for me to get 30,000 subscribers or whatever. It wasn't like that. It was like, let me just share my hobby and see, and put it out there, and you know, 4 people watch it, cool. And if 2 of the 4 people like it, even better. And so what happened was, I put the content out, and some people that I didn't know found it, commented on it, and I was like, oh, cool. And they, you know, a lot of times they say, they'll say something constructive, like, hey, can you do this for your next video? I really liked your content. I want to hear what you have to say. I want to see what you're working on. That was really cool. That was a really cool experience for me, because it's like, oh, wait a minute, people actually do kind of want to watch this. People have similar interests, and they want to see what I'm doing. And they were cool enough to leave a comment on my video. And it's stuff like that. It's like, okay, like I said, as long as somebody's watching and is entertained, and also I'm entertained to do it, I'll continue to do it. And that's where I think, like I said, if it were up to me, I think all miniature gaming hobbyists should have their own YouTube channel, and they should just put up whatever the hell they're playing or painting, because it's going to be valuable to somebody. Like, I'll watch it. I'll watch almost anything on YouTube for that has to do with miniature gaming. No, wait, that's a lie. I won't. I won't watch just any. I will watch what I consider to be fan created content. Fan created content without really any larger motives. If you're creating fan created content, but you also wouldn't mind if people threw a few bucks at you every month, yeah, I'm going to watch your channel. If you create content with the idea of, I'm going to turn this into a big thing, and you guys are going to want to pay me money so that I can share my unique and wonderful experiences with the rest of you, fortunate saps, I'm not watching your channel. If you make decisions on your channel like, well, more people play this game, so I'll get more views if I cover this game as opposed to the one I really wanted to play, I'm not going to watch your channel. If you try to turn everything into a commercial for your Patreon, I'm not going to watch your channel. So you kind of get where I'm going, right? My favorite channels are completely, fan-based, hobby-inspired, DIY. When I say DIY, do-it-yourself channels. I love the just, fan channel. I don't. There are plenty of people that do professional videos, and they do a great job, and they run businesses around that, and more power to them. I'm just not interested in that. I'm not interested in, if somebody's going to critique a game, I'm not interested in the professional critique. I want to hear the guy that's, staying up late at night, painting in his tiny little room, hoping for the next day he gets to get in a game of XYZ. I want to hear his opinion. I want to hear what he thinks about not just games, but products that he bought, that somebody told him, hey, try this, it's a good product, and then he tried it and thought it was good. I want to hear his opinion on, Kickstarters that he's backed and his experiences with them, because that means more to me. The firsthand customer experience with games and gaming products is far better testimonial to me than some quote-unquote professional games critic telling me, oh, I really have to like this game because of its artistic value, or I really have to like this game because it's made by a very big company that's paying me some money to say this. I don't know. That was a lot of rambling at once there, but hopefully you guys kind of get what I'm saying. I can't disagree with Cameron when he's saying, we're kind of in a black hole right now for content. And it's not because the larger quote-unquote professional channels aren't putting out content anymore, because they're still doing their same thing. It's that we're not seeing as many private hobbyists put their stuff out. That's what's making me sad. That's what bums me out. And so when I see stuff like Warboss Tay's painting challenge, and all of these like smaller channels hop on, and it's like, hey, I'm just a guy painting, it could be whatever you want. I'm just a guy that paints Eldar, and I'm painting Eldar for a month for Warboss Tay. That's cool. I'll watch it. Yeah, I don't like GW stuff, but so what? This guy loves his hobby. He's painting. And dude, there's that guy that, what's his name? Mortis Causer, that did a whole narrative on his miniatures as he painted them up. I freaking loved that. I was like, yeah, that's the kind of stuff I want to watch on YouTube. That's the kind of stuff that I want to be subscribed to. And it's really disappointing when my feed is filled with the professional game critics reviews. Now, don't get me wrong, I still do sub to those channels because I do want to see stuff coming down the pipeline, especially, the advantage of those bigger professional channels is they get previews that the rest of us lowly you know, the rest of us little fish don't have access to. So if I want to see a new up and coming model, or if I want to hear about an expansion, those professional channels are great for getting that out. They're not, I don't think they're great for reviewing that stuff, but they can unbox stuff for me. They can show me what's up with some of these bigger companies and you know, hotter products coming out. But like I said, if you know, just using this game as an example, for Wrath of Kings, they come out with a new model, then picking on Beasts of War. Beasts of War is where I'll go because they'll preview it, right? But that said, I don't really care what Beasts of War says about how they feel about the game Wrath of Kings, because it's not important to me. These folks are you know, kind of sponsored by the manufacturers. So I don't really care. So what they're saying about how they feel about the game carries less weight with me. If one of you guys had a video, like did a video where it's like, oh, I played, you know, I played Wrath of Kings for the past 5 months, and here's a, you know, here's a picture of my army, and here's what I think about it, I will absolutely love that content. Even if I don't agree with it, even if well, you know, I don't agree with that, but you're speaking to experience. You're speaking to your experience. That's what I want to watch. That's why, I mean, my subscriber count is nice. It's nice to know that people are watching me, but let's be honest, I don't nearly have as many views reflective of the number of subscribers I'm purported to have. So I have a lot of dead, quote unquote, dead subscribers. Don't care. What's more important to me is what channels am I subbed to, not how many people are subbed to me. I want to sub to better channels. I want to sub to fun, independent channels that can either share good firsthand information, you know, firsthand experiential information with me, or they're just entertaining, or both. Better yet, if they're both. That's what I want. So my preachy thing for tonight is, if you have the equipment, do a YouTube channel. And you know what? Tell me about it. I'll plug you. I'll plug you with all the other 5 viewers I've got. And you'll have 5 subs. And there you go. And it does become, you know, doing this side of the work does become another fun way to enjoy your hobby. It's like, okay, I'm gonna paint tonight. I'm gonna throw the camera on. I'm gonna talk some mess, and you guys are gonna come in on the comment section or whatever, and I'm gonna be cool with that. Let's see. I'd love to put out more content. I just don't have the resources anymore. Yeah, see, that I get, though. I totally get it. You're in school. You know, you're in school. You're working. Yeah, and maybe you're not gaming as often as you were. Maybe you're not inspired to turn the camera on. I can't fault you for that. You know, it's not. I'm not going to fault you for that. That's just going to happen. But if more hobbyists stepped up and took your place, then we wouldn't be in a dearth. You know, we wouldn't be in a deficit of fan-generated content. You know, if more guys just said, you know, I'm going to turn the camera on, and no shame, and I don't care. Then we would have. Then I think for sure the YouTube wargaming scene would have better content, and we would be challenging ourselves to be better, right? When I watch a good video, it's like a challenge. Like, oh man, they did such a good job. I want to do a good job. My next one, how can I improve? What do I need to do better? And if it's like an equipment limitation, sometimes that's just unfortunate because you don't have the money. but sometimes it's just a way somebody's presenting something, or it could even be a game that they're covering that you were interested in, and you're like, man, I want to cover that game. You can get inspired that way. I get inspired by a lot of the channels I'm sub to, and you can pretty much learn something new or different from every single channel you're sub to. You're like, well, this guy says this, and I don't know if I agree with that or not. I'm gonna watch a few more of my channels, and they'll chime in, and you'll go, okay, well, this one actually seems to be the way I want to go, and I'm gonna listen to this on this particular topic. I didn't know Wrath of Kings had released anything until you said something. Yeah, Wrath of Kings, man, they're coming out with the bigger specialist models that look amazing. Amazing. I just sold my Nasir army, and then I saw what what they came out with on the Nasir side. I was like, wait a minute, why did I do that? Actually, I don't regret selling my Nasir army for 2 reasons. I don't regret selling it because I just wasn't interested in the playstyle. I had a lot of fun painting it. And 2, I sold it to Mark, which means I get to see it all the time because I game with Mark. So we all win. Mark gets a fully painted, assembled army for at a lower rate than I would offer a stranger. And I get those, I get to see that Nasir army painted and ready to go across the table for me. So it's, in that situation, I feel like everybody won. Let's see. I wish more could think like that. A certain minority of viewers and players prefer watching Joe Schmo. Joe Schmo is more fun to watch than Corporate Craig. That's how I feel. That's why I watch YouTube. There are guys that do professional videos on YouTube, and I'm not just talking about miniature wargaming here. I'm talking about just in general, like large sub YouTube channels. And take your pick regarding subject matter. We can be talking about video games. The quote unquote professional video game channels, the biggest subscriber ones, I don't think are very good, frankly. Yeah, they have high quality videos. Yeah, they do. They have access to content that the rest of us don't. But they're not very good. They're not very compelling. Whereas you take a guy that's just flipping on his camera while he's playing a game for fun, and he shares some of his own experiences with the game. Maybe he figured something out that a lot of people don't know about. That's the channel I want to watch. Eventually, what happens though is, in the case of like a video game, let's say somebody comes up when they figure out a specific hack around, how to beat this boss on this level, right? So like, okay, here's how you beat this boss on this level. That's been giving everybody fits. That guy publishes his video. Then one of the larger channels watches his video and says, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to steal that content. I'm not even going to give the guy credit for it. And I'm going to put it on my channel, and everyone's going to be like, oh, Corporate Craig, he came up with the answer. Meanwhile, like this original guy and like his 4 subscribers, they all know that Corporate Craig is full of shit, and he didn't come up with anything. He just basically stole that solution from Joe Schmo. So let's see. Sweet. Yo, what happened to that fish guy? We get so hyped for that guy who just talks about fish. He put out a video. We're talking about Frankenspud 3, right? I love Frankenspud 3. Frankenspud 3, folks. Watch his channel. He's coming up on 200 subscribers. And all this guy does is, all Frankenspud 3 does is he posts videos about the fish that he's bred. And I absolutely love his videos. They're usually about 2 minutes long, and you're staring at an aquarium, and it's some like tiny little tetra fish that nobody knows what the hell it is or why it's significant, except for Frankenspud, because he'll tell you why it's so significant. And he'll put weird alien music playing in the background, and he'll say, "Hey, check out my new fish," yada yada. And his enthusiasm is so good that I would get like amped. I'd get like super pumped. I'm like, "Oh my God, there's a new Frankenspud video." And it was just fish. It was just 2 minutes of him showing the fish, right? Absolutely love that channel. Yeah, he still put, I think he put out like a grand total of 2 or 3 videos out last year. And it was so good. It's like, oh, Frankenspud got a new one. Oh, he got his he got his neon tetras to breed. That's amazing. I love Frankenspud. What a guy. But yeah, that's kind of my point, I want to see that guy. I don't want to see what's that? What are those guys on Travel Channel or whatever that make those giant tanks? They make those obnoxious, like, oh yeah, we totally made LeBron James toilet seat into an aquarium. It's fantastic. And me and my brother, and there's like high drama. I don't give a shit about that. I don't like that show. I don't care. I don't want to watch that. I want to watch Frankenspud. I want to see Frankenspud get like flipped out of his gourd over over his 2 little minnows breeding. That's what I want. That's what I came to see. And call it whatever you want. That's that's why I like YouTube. And I know I've been kind of beating on this drum for a while. But yeah, I think it would be cool if people just did video. Look at Tori Tori a little nervous putting his videos together. But I loved watching Tori's videos. They were cool. And he stopped doing them. He just decided he didn't want to do them anymore. That's also cool. But I did enjoy them while they were on. Frankenspud 3. Gotta watch that. Okay, you guys are talking about one of the larger miniature wargaming channels. I didn't like some of the things on the vids. I want to watch things for entertainment. Yeah. Yeah. For me, it just, because this is a hobby of mine, and miniature wargaming is a social and infectious hobby, in my opinion. I want that exchange to occur primarily between the actual hobbyists, between the end users. I just think that's where it should be. All right, so we're going to go with the next color here. I would normally be doing glacial. You know what? I still need to do glacial blue. I know I have this wolf gray, but if I'm going to keep the same, scheme with the rest of Shilhan, I got to do this glacial blue. And I like this color better anyways. I just can't seem to find it anywhere anymore. So if you guys find this glacial blue, that's what I need. I can't find it anywhere. It's a source of frustration for me. It's like I was bitching about last week. There's all these nerd channels, these self-identified. I'm a nerd channel. I cover nerd topics and we talk about nerd things. And you look at the guy and you're like, dude, you're some dude that failed drama class. Come on. You didn't watch that show. You don't know what you're talking about. Like, stop trying to make it about whatever rights movement you're in the middle of. Tell me about the damn show, right? That's what I'm talking about. I'm not here to see wannabe celebs. I want to see hobbyists. I want to see people that just flat out, hey, I like the hobby. Not the best painter, but I'm all right. I'm not the best gamer, but I'm okay. Here's my experience. That's what I want to see. So take from that what you will. But that always means a little bit more to me. Let's see. If they have games I like, I stay as well as content. Anyone else here using Brush for Hire base inserts for Wrath of Kings? I picked up 2 different sets, and I'm pretty impressed so far. Yeah, you shared that with me. I thought it was cool. I just didn't pop the money for them. I want to see how yours turn out, because base inserts are awesome. Base crowns are also really awesome. I'm starting to like those MDF base crowns because they're super economical. And once you paint them up, they look pretty good. I'm talking about specifically the stuff that Tectonic Craft Studios makes. I've been using that for Guild Ball and Batman, and I just think they're good. I think they're a good economical way to get some interest on your base. So you can see I'm moving towards a white color. So this is going to be fairly rough because it's white. Or this is the actual true base color, not the glacial blue. I mean, not the azure blue. The azure blue is just going to sit in the deepest recesses. This glacial blue will actually be most of the model. So this isn't really a highlight so much as it is a base coat. So Hamilcar, any chance you're going to OrcCon next month? I was just telling David I will be there. I'm going to register my event, and I'll be there the same day he is, so we can get in a game of probably Guild Ball. Maybe I'll bring Wrath of Kings too. I can show. Well, maybe I won't demo Wrath of Kings. I'll probably just play it with Mark. Play some Wrath of Kings up there, and spend the whole day up there. It is Valentine's Day, so that makes me look like an ass, but I'll make sure my wife and I have our little romantical evenings during that weekend. So there you go. See, we're going towards white. Been using Secret Weapon bases for Bushido. Yeah, Secret Weapon I like quite a bit. I like their products more and more. I use their their resin bases for Relic Knights, and some of it for Anima Tactics. I also really like their tablescape tiles. I think those are great. I like them more than I like the Games and Gears tiles. And I have a set of each of those. Let's see. No OrcCon, have to work in Arizona that weekend. Shooting for Kingdom Con. Cool. Yeah, I'm going to try to do the whole of Kingdom Con, which probably means I'm going to get to do 2 out of the 3 days. Like maybe a Friday, probably do like a Friday, Saturday, and go home Saturday night. Kingdom Con's fun. I don't know if my liver can handle 3 days of it, though. Always a good time. I don't know what I mean, Kingdom Con, I'd like to play some of this there. I'm sure like 90% sure we'll be able to have, they'll have some Guild Ball at Kingdom Con. I don't think they have anything planned for Wrath of Kings. There we go. Been looking for base ideas for my Savage Wave collection I'm starting. You know who other resin bases that I think are really, really cool are the Wargamma ones. They're some of my favorite. I use those for Eldorado and a few other games, but mostly Eldorado. So if you want to do something like demonic looking, Cameron, you might look at Wargamma. And not only that, Wargamma is like the nicest dude of all times. James, he really is. He's like the nicest person of all times. All right. Yeah, this line painting is boring, so I will apologize a little bit for that. I'm going to keep this fairly simple, though. So I'm just going to do base coat glacial white, and then once this is done, I'll come back and do just a really quick white highlight, just an actual true white highlight in a couple spots, but it's not going to be much. Really just to bounce light off. I mean, when you see this glacial white coming down, you are looking at the majority of the final color. Once again, I do like white for this particular set of troops because white is a color of death in Asians, in the Asian cultures. That and this color is the same color that my Dragon Legion, what they're wearing on their clothing, is this kind of glacial white. So more parity for the army. And for like more regimented stuff, the limited color palettes work out really well. I guess now that I'm painting these all, thinking I could have just airbrushed all the white on here. And it probably would have looked pretty good, but we're already so into this process at this point. So it should be okay. Let's see, I've looked through Wargamma. They don't seem to have any round bases up. They do in fact. If you're having trouble finding them, we could message James and see, hey, can you show us? Right, for Bushido, you need 30 mil round lip bases for the most part. I know for a fact he's got them because I have some. Let me get a slate look for Savage Waves since they come from a mountainous region in the fluff. Lotus are looking sweet. By the way, I like the boob accents. Thanks. Yeah, I think these will be cool once they're done. The one thing the white does is it in some ways it kind of washes out the flesh. It would have been, from a purely highlighty point of view, might have been better to do a darker color, like almost a black gray for the dresses. Then the skin will really pop. But like I said, this is I want to go with this because white is death, and then they'll match the others. Let's move these up. Let's see. These models seem to be coming together nicely. I may not be able to sit for the long haul. Yeah, I'm actually going to be signing off pretty soon. I have to get up early. Where do you post finished work photos? I'll usually post them on my Facebook page, Plate Painted Facebook page. So once these are done, which will probably be, I'll say conservatively Friday, they may actually be done tomorrow night. Then I'll take a few photos of them. My camera stuff isn't the best right now. It's one of the things that I'm gonna be improving, especially for more live streaming. I may be looking at adding another webcam, and I am picking up a new microphone. So I should have a better quality microphone to pick up, two people speaking, and hopefully some better quality sound. I know that was one of the main issues I had with streaming live gaming. And I got comments like that on my older streaming gaming videos. I was like, hey, it's cool and all, but can't hear what you guys are saying. So I'm actively trying to fix that. So I did pick up a new microphone, or I ordered a new microphone without Patreon money. Upgrading because I want my videos to look a little bit, or to sound better. I was gonna buy a C920 today from Amazon. They had them cheap, and then they just poofed. I put it in my cart, and before I could hit place order, they just poofed. Made me really sad. So hopefully it'll show up again, and I can just hit order before they go away. And then Amazon's got to figure out how to fulfill my order. Right? Let that be their problem. Get that. Okay, so there's 4. And then, like I said, we're going to step up to white. So I'll probably paint for just a little while longer. I just need to get this color on. And then I'll paint the rest of it. Or paint the rest of these tomorrow. Depending on how tomorrow night I'm feeling, because I have a very long work day tomorrow. I may actually just flip the camera back on, because we're changing our gaming night. We're not going to be doing Tuesdays anymore. We might be doing Thursdays. If we do Thursdays, it's not going to affect the stream. I'll continue to stream on Wednesdays. But if we go to Wednesdays, then I'll let you guys know what weeknight I will be streaming. No matter what, though, it will always be between this like 9 and 10 p.m. Oh, man. It's starting to get away from me a little bit. This is what happens. You start getting tired, and then you're just not as sharp as you were painting these. I forgot what color I did these rocks. I'm going to have to pull my other Shale Han models and see. I know I put flowers on these bases. You know, the Army Painter flowers, the yellow and white ones. So we get this glacial blue thin to a point where it's actually blending fairly well without me having to work the paint. Go figure, though. I'm actually kind of looking forward to Orcon. It should be fun. I can bring a bunch of games for me and Mark to play during the day. Oh, who am I kidding? If I run Guild Ball there at Orcon, I will be busy almost the entire time. I would like to sell stuff too while I'm up there, but I just don't see that happening. I may have to just sell stuff on eBay. I got to do my annual, selling off of things that I'm not playing. And they may go for dirt cheap on eBay. So be on the lookout for it. I probably need to sell my Dystopian Legions, because I have no intention of going back to that game. As cool as the miniatures are and the setting, I just don't see that happening. Man. Hold on. I'm going to switch. What's up, you entitled shitlord? Hey, what's up, Canvas? I'm just oppressing a group of minority women by painting my Iron Lotus warriors. So, here, get some boobs. Get some boobs, Canvas. Boobs. Boobies. I need... I guess I can use this. Yeah, this will do. I hopped on late, dude. Well, late for me. So yeah, paint up some Wrath of Kings. We were talking earlier about my whole gripe with professional versus private YouTube channels, and how I wish more of the average Joe hobbyist would put up some videos, because I think they're better. I do think they're better quality. It's definitely stuff I want to watch. Let's see. Put them in their safe space. Yes. No kidding, right? I know we end up talking about this a lot on the channel, but it really has been my experience that most of the time people who are offended by painting these semi-nude models, most of the time they're dudes. And I don't know, like a lot of what I hear is like, oh, maybe if you have a daughter, you might think differently about painting these ladies up and what they represent. It's like, well, what do they represent? It's a fantasy world with, like, what women are built like this that are off at war, and how, while we're talking about that, how efficient is it? I know you're going to criticize, oh, well, having so little clothing would be terrible in combat. Well, trying to use some of these weapons that the chicks are using would also be terrible in combat. Like, if you look at, here we go. For example, if you look at the thickness of that blade, that two-handed blade, and then if you look at the build of this woman, that's going to be very hard for her to wield that blade efficiently. It's just a really, really big piece of steel that she's waving around. If you're going to go there, we'll go there, but it's not really relevant. It's a fantasy, Women fantasize about, here we go. Yeah, not just women, but some people fantasize about the guy who looks like Fabio, who rescues small puppies and is good with children and isn't a child molester and makes $1 billion being a nice guy. Hey, it's a fantasy. We all know the reality. The guy who makes $1 billion may not be the nicest guy. He may not even be the most socially adjusted dude out there. He may be so busy earning $1 billion that he's just not going to be Fabio, right? You don't see us picking apart that. Like, we're not up in arms about that, about your fantasy. We're not screwing with your fantasy. Don't screw with ours. I don't know. See what you did, Canvas? You got me like talking about this crap. Damn it. Be much better if you just put up a video. Yeah. Yeah, I really like what some of the really, really cool, talented female miniature painters have spoken up recently and said, I don't see what the big hoopla is. Everybody likes the human body, and we love painting the human form, and especially the female form. It's just, even women understand, like, there's just a really strong aesthetic appeal to how a woman is built, and people like to paint it, people like to draw it, people like to sketch it. It's not bad. It's not a bad thing to do. I don't know. All right, let's see. Tread carefully. I heard that Lotus Warrior was gender fluid. Oh no. Let's see. Okay, I'm done. Going to bed. Good night, Cameron. Are you still playing Batman miniatures? I am. And still playing the Batman miniatures game. I haven't really added anything to my collection. So, I'm still, when I play, it's still like Court of Owls or the League of Shadows starter. We really didn't we didn't go that deep into Batman. We're still playing it, but it's just not I don't know, it's not our regular go-to. It's going to be in the rotation, but is that a vague enough answer for you? I still absolutely love the aesthetics of Batman. Really excited about Spider-Man. And there are still a bunch of Batman miniatures I want. Most notably, Comic Book Talia, the Neverland Crew, and some of the Batman animated series stuff I think is fantastic. Wow, this brush really just kind of went to crap, didn't it? Can't even get a point on it anymore. She's dead, Jim. Look at that. Just gone. I guess I can use it for a rough base coat, which is what I'm in the middle of doing right now anyway. These are fun models. They really are. I don't know what's going on there. This one. This is a weird, like, white spot I'll have to fix. Probably just wash it real quick. And I'll fix it. Yeah, this is just a real rough base coat coming in. And I'll come in and chip it with a white highlight. Do you guys know what I mean when I say chip it? I just kind of hit the sharpest points with the white. You guys know what I'm talking about. Okay. They look kind of wintry, so there you go. Maybe could use these in my Frostgrave warband. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now it's just these left. Welcome to the show, Wade. But yeah, what I'd like to do on the streaming is get just one of my friends over at a time, maybe twice a month. Have them come down and just stream a game. And if we get shit wrong, we get it wrong. It's a live show. What are you going to do? You can comment and tell us what we did wrong. I would appreciate that, actually. But it would be cool to have a bunch of different games, streamed that people could go back and watch and go, oh, okay. I was always wondering about that game. Now I got to see it played. And even if some of the minor stuff is wrong, you'll still be able to get to see the game in action, how it flows, the timing. You'll get to hear some perspectives of us, what we like, what we don't like. Man, these are fun sculpts. They really are. I'm really enjoying painting these. Probably some of the most fun I've ever had painting rank and file troops. They're just great. All right, let's see. I should try and get some of my painting. Maybe try that tomorrow. It's hard to pick what to paint, Batman or Pulp City. I heard good stuff about Pulp City. I had some friends that backed it, but I don't think they did anything with their stuff. I think that's like one of the major components with backing miniature games on Kickstarter is it's almost kind of a black hole when you back it, because it's like then when it comes out, you're the only person that has stuff, and then you have 400 miniatures to paint, and most people, when they see 400 miniatures, turn and run away, and so that money just gets wasted. The stuff sits in boxes, or they end up putting it back on eBay, and maybe they make their money back. Maybe they've been turned a little profit, but I don't think that was the goal when they backed it originally. For most people, I think they fully intended to play these games. It's kind of billowy, this one. It's just a cool pose. Let's see. Well, yeah, I had to get that Adam West Batman. For sure, man. I loved Adam West Batman. That's my favorite Batman to play of all the Batmans in the in that miniature game. Okay. 2 more to go. I bought the Adam West Batman, ended up giving it as a birthday present unpainted. I still have a bunch of Batman miniatures here that I haven't cracked open out of the blister yet. Most notably, Heath Ledger Joker. I haven't done anything with, and I think that's all. I think that's it for the models that have rules. I have like a Wonder Woman over here, and I have a Superman. I have a Jim Lee Superman, but those don't have any rules for them. So I'll show you what these look like as of right now. They're going to be real rough still. Kind of went double whammy here on the paint scheme. As if it isn't hard enough to paint all the flesh, we're going to go with a white color scheme. So there's that. But I do think that when these are all done, I think they're going to look fantastic on the field together. So we like playing skirmish level games of Wrath of Kings. So I figured it'll be 12 of these with probably Madame Mui leading them. Then squad of 6 Dragon Legion, led by a Legion Keeper. So the Legion Keeper and Madame Mui would be my 3 ranks of leaders on a skirmish game. Then I would probably buy 4 ranks of... No, I would buy 3 ranks of specialists, 2 standard, and 1 from the option. So I'd probably buy 3 more Dragon Legion from the option. So I have 9 Dragon Legion. I could actually, you know what I could do is I could split it right down the middle. Do 9 Dragon Legion and 9 of these ladies for my 18 ranks base. And then as an option, I can bring in another squad. Problem is, if you go with a rank 2 leader on skirmish, the rank 2 leader you're going to want to assign a lot of troops to. So in this case, I don't see why I shouldn't take 12 of these Lotus Warriors with Madame Mui. White color scheme, that's it. I'm boycotting. That was funny. That was funny. I always end up with white or yellow color schemes on stuff. Like whatever game I'm playing, I always have one faction that's painted white. Like white clothing. And for Guild Ball, I have the Masons, their armor is white. And then the Alchemists they have like that orange and minty blue theme to them. These are looking pretty good though. They're rough around the edges right now, but bear in mind, all I've really done is a base coat for what should look to be mostly white when they're all done. They'll still carry the blue tinge to them, but yeah, it should look mostly white. All right. The other thing I'm going to do is they're not all going to have black hair. I may go a little half cartoony with the hair. I may have some regular like blondes in here. Blondes, brunettes, redheads. Oh, come on. How hard is it? Really? Yeah. So here's where we're at so far. I think they're looking pretty cool. These are super fun sculpts. It's kind of a shame that there's only 3 sculpts, but they're all single piece sculpts. So they were super easy to put together. But yeah, it is about that time. I got to get up super early tomorrow. Got a crazy long day of work ahead of me. And then I don't know, why not? Maybe I'll flip the camera on tomorrow night and see who I can get to hop on the feed with me. So here we go. There they are. Yeah, thanks, guys. So obviously we'll have more colors when this is done, but that's not too far off from what they're going to look like because of the base coat. so you can see the base coat and the flesh and that kind of stuff there. You know, if I want a little more shadow, I could do a super, super thin glaze of black and just run the black into different areas. I could also use, you know, I could also use like a violet. I would probably use a black in this case. And then the white is really easy. There's not much. I mean, I could very well do the white tonight, but man, I do have to get up quite early in the morning. Let me show off a couple other things though before we're out of here. So that's where those are at. Those will probably be done in the next night or so. Then I'll have to paint these. Whoa. Turn. I have to paint the black Lotus. The fans are going to be a little bit of work there. And then there's a lot of different like tiny straps and stuff on this model. Just to show off some of the other like Wrath of Kings things I have. There's the converted one. So I'm going to be using this as my Madamui. But then you also have the Death Bloom. So I'll be working on her at some point because I do want to keep her on here. Whoa. And then the Winter Hawk. Oh, so then you have the Winter Hawk, and then you have this guy who's really cool, the War Child. Here's a fun model. That's going to be a fun model to paint. So anyway, I think we're going to call it here. That's going to do it for this video. Thanks everybody for tuning in. It's a really fun night for just me talking into the void of the internets. But it's always nice to just vent about crap and just speak my mind or whatever. And I enjoy painting. So anyway, that's going to do it for this video. I want to thank everybody for watching. Have a good night, guys, and we'll catch you on the next one.